Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko madaifa. Inu to ye ko jeun. Ulon fi bipa. Ọba tala, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó Èṣù, Ògún Ọya Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o?
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisa Gbemi, and today we got a new guest to the tribe, family, at least to the channel. We got a new guest. Shout out to I am SEG13 Mahri, who came in the private community last week and burned it down, man, and made a phenomenal appearance, with the private community. So I definitely want to give thanks and gratitude to you for that. And honestly, I think that's probably going to be an episode. I wanted to drop some clips of it before we even did this one because it was that powerful. But at the same time, spirit works the way spirit does. And I take pride in being obedient to spirit, just like I know that you do. And so with that, I want to give thanks and gratitude with that before we even get started. And then also shout out to the tribe, man. Shout out to Lode for the introduction and the plug of connecting us first and foremost. And then also, shout out to the tribe, those who were able to make the call, on your premiere in the community last Friday in the Patreon community, as well as those who joined the Patreon community, as well as those who are members of the channel. I want to give a shout out and thanks and appreciation and gratitude to all y'all. So with that, I am SEG13 Mahri. Welcome to the tribe, man. I appreciate you for joining us.
Gracias. It is my honor and my pleasure. Ooh, it is about time. It is about time for this conversation. So I'm very, very happy to be here.
I appreciate you. And before we get into, because you have I feel like a very intriguing and a very captivating background and backstory, especially with your background and your history with the music industry. And that's something that I was privy to and learned last week when we did the private call, and that really brought a lot of things into perspective for me. And so much so, just in reflection from that call, I was thinking about other people who I've had the opportunity and who I've been blessed to interview who had similar experiences to yours. And so with that, especially with what we're seeing right now with the exposure of a lot of things coming to the forefront. We've been seeing and hearing a lot of whispers and things of that nature. Shout out to, Jaguar Wright, the hers, commentary of being someone who had a similar, I feel like, background in the industry, who a lot of people might not know her in mainstream, but she has a lot of information and insight as to, some of the things that goes down. So with you sharing your experiences last week, that was enlightening for me. And it also triggered a few things in my mind to think about some of the other people who I've had the opportunity to work with who had similar experiences. So with that, I can't wait to dig into that. But I wanted to ask you, before we go into, your backstory and before we get into how you came to be, what you're doing now, what is the significance when we talk about healing, right? Whether it's spiritual healing, sexual healing, whatever the healing is, what is the significance with crystals when we incorporate crystals into our journeys of healing?
The crystals help us with the memory. Crystals are beings that have been here for many, 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 many years, and they hold information. And when you connect to the crystal, that crystal, this is the most plain one, a crystal quartz. When I touch this crystal quartz immediately starts connecting to my cellular structure, and it starts receiving information and it starts outputting information. I just have to be available to receive it. And the way that I receive it is just simply by holding it and being still, being in a meditation. And meditation is simply being still with this being, because this is a being just like a plant, just like a tree. And so this being has a lot of technology that is already within us because we are crystalline beings. So this crystal is what is inside of us. It is programmable. It's very powerful, and it is authentic to who we are. So it's the most thing that you can trust in this world where a lot of people are feeling really scattered because religion, all of these, just everything is just shot to hell, right? And people are wondering, where do I go? Who do I ask? How do I just be still? Get you a crystal quartz. Crystal quartz, you can find this anywhere. And just sit with it. Hold it. You have energy centers in the palms of your hand. So when you hold it, it's already doing what it needs to do. All of this technology was made to be very simple for us to use. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be in school for a million years,
right,
studying geology so that you can know and use this technology. This is for you to use very simply.
I say, yeah, no, that's powerful, and it reminds me of kind of like some of the things that we were talking about, like middle to towards the end of the call when I was talking about my Orgon crystal, because I got there's literally about 3 or 4 different crystals right here behind me in the backdrop. Like this, matter of fact, these are all crystals. You know what I'm saying? I got a big quartz crystal that I got anchoring by the. And I got my Orgon joint, the pyramid joint that I got from the Medicine. Shout out to Tony and the Medicine, and definitely Ibachinu, and shout out to the late great Dr. Delbert Blair, who you're also a fan of his work as well, and a student as I am. And we talked about that on the call, and it's like the significance of the matter of fact, let's just talk about the power of protection as well as healing, because we spoke about the diodes. I think you said you had like a waistband or something like that had the diodes that you can get, from Dr. Blair in the Medicine Center. So what is the significance for using crystals for protection purposes before we even go further into the healing?
Ooh. Oh, that's a loaded question right there. Because, okay, so I think that a lot of people are feeling like energetically what's happening in the planet now.
Right.
Well, in 2012, there was a veil that was lifted that made it so that spirits and different entities were now able to cross over into this realm and make it easier. We were easier accessible to them now. They were more easily accessible to us now, right? And so in this time, people get really excited thinking about spirit and being like, oh, it's just so lovely and divine. Well, hey, it's some spirit that is on some shit.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
There's some energies and entities, and you can call them demons, you can call them whatever you want to call them. I relate everything to energy. And so this energy is out there on the prowl. We have ancestors that have incomplete things, and spirits that trying to get back in here, and they'll get in any way possible. So if your energy is open, if your vibration is low and your chakra system is all wild, and you're open to entities, if you're drinking, if you're doing things unconsciously, smoking, all of that, mushrooms and all of that, if you're doing it unconsciously, right, you are inviting in a whole nother world into your space, and it's up to you to figure that out. And so the stones are natural tools. It's like, okay, so in the real world, we got, like, I don't know, AK-47s, different things like that, right? So in the spiritual world, we got these things right here. This is a smoky quartz right here, and I know you got one of these, Orisa Gbemi, because I saw you showing that one time. Smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is for protection. So this is like my AK-47. Same thing as the black tourmaline. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, in black tourmaline is something that, as I'm doing this work and I'm doing my healing and energy is coming to me, I need something that's going to work for me without me doing a thing. And so, of course, Orgon energy batteries do that. However, the raw stones, a black tourmaline, a shungite stone, I have that in this space. And any energy that's vibrating low, that is not on a beneficial frequency, is going to get immediately stopped. It's going to get transformed, and it's going to get shot right back to whoever sent it to me. So if somebody's sending me some stuff that's not good, they're going to get it transformed, and it's going to come to them times. I don't even like to count. Like, we could say 100, but it's probably way more than that. Like, you don't want to fool with the people that are here to balance the frequency of the planet. You know what I'm saying? You don't. And there's so many ways for us to protect ourselves from these energies that are here among us now. Right? They're here. So your word is first. You are everything. So everything that is in these crystals, this is all inside of us. So when you recognize who you are and you command that energy to be still, go away, don't fool with me, don't fuck with me, whatever you have to say, however you have to speak to this energy, there is no requirement for you to be like, oh no, I'm talking to this energy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there, you don't have to be you. Be organically and authentically who you are, and you command you command for that energy, whatever it is. If you don't like it, if it don't feel right, you tell it to go, and you use your power and use your ache. And if you have orishas that you count on, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, and I'm not going to get all into the deep deities and everything right now. I just want to say that for me, because of my culture, I already know that in a time of war, because of my culture, I know that I need some Ogun in my life, right? And so I call to this energy organically, not even because of me, but because of my father, because of my grandfather, because of my uncle and my ancestors, that they already looking out for me. They've made it so chill for me that all I got to do in this lifetime is focus on me. I got to focus on clearing my energetic system. We got they say they promote 7 chakras. I talk about 13. There's way more. We got hundreds and thousands of chakras. You got hundreds of them in your hands, all over your body, right? But these main ones, the 13 that are inside and outside of your body, those are the ones that are connecting us to our ancestors, to spirit. Those are the ones that are keeping us grounded here. Those are the ones that we need to have aligned in order for us to function in this space. But they never taught us about that, right? And so what they did, the powers that were, what they did, they began to attack the sacral, the root and the sacral chakra of every individual, every, not just a human, like every being on the planet has been sacrally abused, sexually abused, right? And so that is the best way to keep people away from who they are, is messing up with your grounding, with your sacral chakras. When you jack that up, and that usually come from sexual trauma, right? Sexual trauma is not only physical.
Oh yeah.
Sexual trauma is happening when you're looking at things that you don't need to be looking at, when you're hearing things that you don't need to be listening to, when you're seeing things that you don't understand what's going on, sounds. There's so many things. You know, I mean, how many times, how many people have had to explain what is twerking now to their children?
Listen.
When this twerking thing came out, it's just so amazing because, you know, people make it, we're women, we're powerful. The divine feminine is power, right? And so when she says, this is what we're doing now, then this is what we're doing now. It's not a matter of, oh, that's bad, don't do that. It's a matter of the vibrational frequency speaks on its own. And when you start tapping in on those taboo areas, what's happening when you're twerking, you're waking up a kundalini energy that is not ready to be awakened unless you know what the heck you're doing.
Facts. Yeah.
And so when you start doing these movements, there's this energy that if you could see it, and there's a lot of people that at this point you could see the energy flow that happens when we do these things. The colors are orange and reds and darks, and so when this is happening, and that rump is twerking, is shaking, is sending out this energy to the ethers. It's like a signal, and this signal is going out to everything that can pick up on that frequency. Okay, so whatever it is that you want to call it, you know, it's in the most lightest way. Some women, they'll attract the energy of unwanted people that are right. This is in the most light way, right? But it goes deeper than that, because you have some people that are so connected to their lower and root and sacral and sexual chakras, right? That's all they see. That's all they're here for. That's all they are. And they come in these beautiful bodies. They come in these beautiful shells. They come in these really seductive and I mean, just the most beautiful things that you could see. And then they get you. They get you because when you tap into that energy, that vibrational frequency, that vibrational frequency has a life of its own. That's where creation, that's where everything gets started. That's where everything gets rooted, you know? And so depending on the age, depending on where you are in your life and what the circumstances is, some things are going to anchor there really tough. And what has been happening in all of our society, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you this, this ain't nothing new. It's starting very, very young. They're getting us very, very young. In my world, and I'm 54, right? So and I grew up, I came in 1970. And in my world in 1970, they got me at age 5. I was introduced to that world at age 5. The trauma began in my life at age 5. It really was before that, because it happened to my mother, which happened to her mother.
Yeah.
So already in the womb, I was destined to come out and have the experience that came by way my vibrational frequency. And so, in order for me to do this spiritual, sexual healing, I had to go deeply into myself. And I had to go into all of the trauma that I experienced and look at it from an outside perspective. Not look at it as a little girl, not look at it as my higher self. I'm able to look at that little girl, but I was able, because of the stones, and I will give you the stone that I used for that, to do that work, is called clear calcite, optical calcite. And it is a stone that is like a square. And what that stone allows to happen is for you to be able to do the work on yourself and not get emotionally caught up in the situation. I'll give you an example.
Let me ask you this, real quick. I don't want to interrupt, but I don't want to lose this thought, because I feel like this question is going to tie into us going back into where we're going now, but bringing your backstory into, where we're going, right?
Yes.
So everything you said, I agree with 1,000,000%. But shout out to Wunam and shout out to the show we did the other day with the secret power of the African woman, right? So where that brings me is, I was watching a documentary earlier on YouTube before, we got on our show, and it was dope, because I'm gonna actually clip some of that and share it eventually in the private community. But I say all that to say, it reminded me back when I was in Africa last year, when I was in Nigeria. I was in not a small town, but I was in a town, I think it was called Aruwo, either Aruwo or Ruwo. But anywho, I say all that to say, I feel like the culture of dance and dancing has been weaponized and infiltrated and weaponized and used against us, just like spirituality was with Christianity and the Bible. And the reason why I say that is, when I was in that town of Arowo, I saw some of the most phenomenal dance performances I've ever seen in my life, by men and women, mostly young brothers who was dancing, but it was the women and it was the mothers, the Iyami, the Aj. I'm talking about real Iyami Aj. Like, and we got some that be on the channel too. I feel like you one of them, but there's several others. But I say all that to say, the culture of which we come from indigenously, that's part of our culture in raising the energy of the ancestors, raising the energy of our vibrations, raising the energy of the frequency of our cultural practices, right? But it's been used and flipped and scripted. But with weaponization, just like hip hop, it started as a beautiful art form, a beautiful cultural, a movement, but it was infiltrated and then weaponized and used against us, with our own culture, just like spirituality. And when we talk about Ifa, Isheshe, Lukumi, Candomblé, Voodoo, whatever you want to say, they took our cultural practices, indigenous heritage practices, and weaponized it and flipped the script and put mind control on it, right? So that brings me into, I agree with you, like I said, to begin with my little rant about the culture of the twerking. But because you have been inside of that industry and you've been in it at the highest levels, can you kind of share how and why we're seeing what we're seeing with this weaponization of our cultural, arts in regards to music, because you live that life?
Well, they definitely want to take this move, because that twerking move is a very sacred move. It is very sacred. And so what they're doing is they want to confuse people, and they want to scare them at the same time. And they want to give them the satisfaction of using that energy and manipulating it. And so they want to, and so as long as they have the individual confused and feeling good, they're able to manipulate that energy for their benefit. So it is, and they do that with every single artist. Like, you can't be a woman in that industry and be, fully clothed. You can't, that can't happen. I can take you back to Rhythm Nation. Remember Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, and she was wearing
The
all
all
black,
black.
and she was
Yep.
like completely covered, and she
Yep.
was talking like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yep.
That's not gonna happen.
Yep.
That's, you're never gonna see me like that. Well, that's when she was still, yeah, they lure you in, and once you get in there, it's like, no, this is exactly what you're gonna do, and this is why you're gonna do it. And at that level, there are rituals and there are things that just have to happen, either because you're carrying a name. Now you're gonna carry this name, and you're gonna, you want to be famous, and you want to reap the benefits. Then you got to do what it do. You know what I'm saying? And that's not. There is no escaping that. The only people that escape that are the people that you no longer see. And so, just really quick on my background, I was signed to Priority Records when I was 16 years old. Priority Records is a label with NWA. I was on the album NWA 100 Miles and Running. That commercial, Don't Drink That Wine, that was my sisters and I. They referred to us on that album as the Jones Sisters. And it was an amazing journey. It was an amazing look at what goes on. Like, it went like immediately. Everything was changed as soon as we signed 100% of our publishing, not knowing. We didn't know anything. My mom, she didn't speak no English, and I was like, "Mami, filma eso ahí, filmalo ahí, sign right there." You know what I'm saying? And she's just like signing it, of course. And I mean, it was like the thing that they go into, because I've always been a hood girl, right? And they love hood people, because what happens is, hood people, we know how to compartmentalize. We are very, very gifted. We've been in the mud. So those of us that come out of the mud and we're able to practice our gifts, that's like low hanging fruit. They pick us up like that. Oh, you're neglected, and you don't have a family, a community that's supporting you. Oh, now we got you. You are family now. You are ours now. And so it begins like that. And it begins with the whole treatment of, we're doing this for you, and and you're the star. And I mean, they have people that will come and start training you immediately on how you're supposed to handle yourself, what's okay, what's not okay, how you act, what you're gonna say. I mean, I wrote my whole album, but they changed it into how they wanted it to be, what they wanted to project. And
Yep.
it was like, it was a wild ride. We got dropped from the label. They really didn't know what to do with the musical act. It was a rap label. So we did release our album in Latin America. And then I got offered a private deal by myself, away from my sisters, and I neglected that deal. And actually, shortly after that, that's when we got dropped. So at that time, I didn't understand what was going on. I worked my entire life for that. I wanted to be in Hollywood. I wanted to be a star. And so that was a deep dive into that world of the entertainment industry, because I decided to stay in the industry. So I worked in radio, I worked in television, I worked in movies, all of the entire industry. I was there in that, like a little fly on the wall. I learned all of the things that I needed to learn so that I can come out and share with people in terms of structure, because that world, they're geniuses on structure and how things need to be done, right? The discipline, all of that good stuff. But when you enslave people, you're not, you know what I'm saying? There's a
Yeah.
reason why the first album, Jill Scott, who is Jill Scott, even though she did have a lot of good stuff, but Who is Jill Scott was like the best album. Like, all the artists, the first album is always the best,
Yep.
because that's when you was working, that's when you was, you're feeling, all of your energy went into that. By the time your sophomore album comes, they're telling you what to do, what not to do. You better do this. You better make it sound like that one. You better do this. Oh, you need something. Here's some drugs. You need
Yep.
to get that feeling back. Here,
Mhm.
smoke this, do that, drink that. They're trying to mimic something that is unnatural to do. We're not
Yeah.
supposed to be one artist and entertaining the entire world. You entertain your community. You're there to heal your community. Artists, singers, entertainers, we are for our community. And
Right.
this internet got everybody really jacked up,
Yeah.
because you can make a living with 100 people that got your back, supporting your music, supporting your artistry. 100 people, you could survive with that. and do even, I mean, things that you couldn't even imagine. But everybody's greedy, and they don't recognize the fact that, okay, so you sign a record deal, and now in that record deal, for me, for example, I signed away 100% of my publishing. So what was I getting back? 0.9099000. So I was getting, people knew who I was. When I went back to the hood after getting dropped, everybody was being like, oh, but what happened? Because I was on Video Soul. I talked to Video Vibrations back at that time. And, you know, the community, they thought that, oh, you was on TV, so now you got money. And it's like, and that's a whole nother world, a whole nother crash that now you have to come into, because it's like, you know, it's not, you just got to look at everything that was, and it's nothing like what you thought it was. And so to see it all coming out now, I'm so happy about that. It is about time. That world is very small. They make that look big. It is tiny. All of those people know each other. They know who's in the club, who is not in the club, and you get invited little by little. I got invited in 2010 in a meeting that I and my partner assisted for the Democratic campaign for Obama. And we were told that the people had to be manipulated for their own good. And so what happens is those that stayed. Those that continue to go to those meetings, then they continue to go to the meetings. I didn't show up no more. So, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a thing so seriously. And I didn't have the reason why they were after me at the time was because at the time I had a blog talk radio show. That's my word, radio. And so I had a nice hefty community, and they were trying to get, the hood, right? They were trying to get my people. And so, it wasn't so big to where they had to neutralize me or anything, but those are the things that do happen, you know? And so I knew a long time ago that, yes, I had to take care of myself. My ancestors and divine is taking care of me, but I do have to take care of myself. And this is where the Orgon technology and the crystals came in. And just so you know, the powers that were, they know about crystal power. That's why they make movies about it. That's why you will never see an Orgon technology in there, because they don't want you to know that bad. But they put it in the Superman movies. They're gonna put it, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna let you see the energy of it and the beauty. But then what do? They say, "Oh, that's the devil. Don't you touch that."
Well, check this out. Everything that you said is so funny. I love listening to people, because as I'm listening, my thoughts and frequencies are just percolating, but they're just going ham. So as you were saying everything you said, literally my mind, all I see is a screen where I'm taking pictures and putting them together to bring about a visual of everything you're saying. So everything you said, the way it kind of calculated in my mind or computed, I saw the Wizard of Oz effect, right? I saw the Pinocchio and Geppetto effect. And then I also saw the ice cream truck driver, the pedophilia motherfucker who's riding around the elementary schools and riding through the neighborhoods as he's scoping out the prey as the predator to go and lock in and take the misfortune, the misguided, the misfits, the educated, the misparented, all those people who have the most powerful gifts on the globe as regards artistry, right? And then they're just plucking along and pulling them in so they can suck them up and put them out there and be the puppet master and put them out there on front of the stage as, Pinocchio. But at the same time, they got to put not their hands in your backside, but they're going to put some other things in there, whether you're male or female, in order for you to get on that stage so you can perform for the so-called wizard that brings it to the world, or what we call the marketplace of Oz. Like, all that is what I was seeing as you were sharing everything that you were sharing. And you're not the first person that has shared similar stories with me. Even so much so that some mentors of mine, well, I won't mention their names because I can't remember if we spoke about it on or off here, but either way it goes, I know that there's multiple people I've been blessed to work with who have had similar experiences in that industry with you. And the grooming starts at childhood, like you said, whether it's from being, assaulted sexually, or whether it's from even the psychological assaults that we, receive by watching television, by watching television, telling lies to our conscious or subconscious vision. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's cartoons, commercials, you name it, we're being inundated and programmed, subconsciously with the rape culture of what these culture vultures pretty much put out on display in these industries of entertainment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the way that they were trying to get me, is through my
Mhm.
sacral, through my sexual energy.
Yeah.
And so what they were doing, they were constantly telling me how sexy I was. And I was like 17, right?
Yep.
So they're telling me how sexy I am. And they were telling me that, you know, my sisters, they were cool, but you know, I was the diamond. They were gems, but I was the diamond. And that, you know, and at the photo sessions and stuff, they would like put me in front, like on purpose. It's like the energy that they could tell, they could feel it, you know, and they would always give me that attention. And so in that time, like just going back to myself at that time, of course you getting attention. A person that suffered, you know, sexual trauma, now you're giving me attention. Yes, yes, oh yes, you know what I'm saying? But because I was divinely protected, I didn't go that far, but I felt the pull. I felt what they were doing. I never was bold enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna do it, because my sisters, they had my back, and that it wasn't nothing was gonna happen to me when they was around, you know. And so it was my blessing to have that. But it was completely, totally sexualizing me and making sure that I was aware of that I was aware of this power that I had. And, you know, they made sure that I was to say that I was always available. So I was never to have a man. If I did have one, I better not say it. I mean, you know, and the way that I looked, they put me on Jenny Craig. I wasn't even a big girl. I was always thickalicious, you know. So it's like they wanted me to lose weight. They put me on Jenny Craig. And so this is messing with me psychologically already. You know, it's like so many things already going on. And now they're giving me these prizes, but no, but you don't look good enough. Now you got to do this, or now you got to wear this, or now you got to go talk to him and, you know, schmooze up to that one. You know, let them, that we want them to play your music. So make sure you're extra nice. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so it's not ever said like, you got to do this. It's spoken manipulatively, energetically, you know what I mean? Manipulation.
Yep. Yeah. That's the name of the game, man. Like that's, you know, and we see it, like I said, in all aspects of anything that has to do with the entertainment industry, whether it's from sports to music to, you know, TV to movies to, you know, plays, like you name it, like whatever it is that goes on in every single arena that has to deal with, you know, entertainment. Like it's just, that's just the facts of life. But I love, it's funny, I was talking earlier about like the topic, you know, the topic of the show. People had questions in regards to spiritual sexual healing. I'm like, yeah, but it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I knew your backstory from, you know, the private call we had. I'm like, yo, that's dope, because what I took from that, and everybody, like literally everybody on the call was like, yo, this was powerful. I mean, you can attest to it. The tribe was like, yo, I'm speechless. Like I really, you know what I'm saying? Because it was that, I feel like the energy transmission was that profound and that powerful. There were people who literally said they were speechless, you know what I'm saying? And I was speechless for most of it, because I'm like, yo, this is dope. And what I loved about it is I took from you and your story, and this is to me, this is a compliment, because this is my favorite character in the movie. But I took from you and your story of how you shared where you are now, which we're about to turn into, in your regards to being a healer and a creator of crystals, especially Orgon battery crystals. I took it like you took all the pain and all the disruption and all the trauma that you dealt with, and you transformed it into a superpower, because I felt like I was listening to a female version of Killmonger in Black Panther, because he was like, yo, fuck that. Like they messing us up all across the globe, and we got a superpower a tool that we could use to free all of us. And y'all like, nah, fuck that. I'm coming to get everything. I want everything for everything. I want, like everything they took, I'm at that. He had that Dessalines energy, and I love that energy. Like for real. But I felt that from what you were saying, because I'm like, yo, she took the trauma, the pain, and all the bullshit that she'd been through, and I feel like you internalize it and use that to then do what they've been doing to us, to fit script and weaponize it to like, I'm going to stand up for those people who've been through this. I'm going to speak out for those people who've been through this. I'm going to be the one, even if it's uncomfortable, who's going to address, we all have to deal with this if you've been through this. And I'm not going to let you off the hook for not owning it, so we can like learn through it, heal through it, and grow through it collectively. I'm like, yo, that's powerful. Like, that's dope. So that's where I saw like, this is dope. You know, how you took, I feel like you took what would be a liability and turned it into an asset, you know, as far as like your journey. So I feel like that is what I picked up in that one conversation of what, you know, you had with us in the tribe last week. So Is that somewhere like where you went with it, or like how would you define what
Hell yes. That is all the way where I went with
I
it. I
say?
put everything there.
Yes, sir.
Everything there. When I went through my awareness of who I am,
Mhm,
so my acronym,
mhm,
I am SEG13. I minister Sacral Energy Goddess 13, aka Sex Energy Goddess 13, aka Sex Goddess 13. And this name carried with me through all of my, ever since I was maybe 19, 20. And the energy that came from it was very strong and powerful, to where I had to ask why that. Like, I didn't even like that name, and I was being called that. And it was like, why does it bother me so much? And why am I called that? I mean, it's cool in the bedroom, but when I think about it outside of that, it just bothers me so much. And so I had to go deep, and I had to start asking questions. And the question that I asked, who am I? Like, who am I? Who was I before? Why am I here? And I kept asking those questions. And as I'm asking those questions, I'm doing my work with this technology, with Orgon energy. And these questions are being answered through dreams, through day visions, information that was just coming about being the sacred prostitute, being the divine feminine, by being all of that, right? And they told me about how I had to have this journey and why I came through my mom who suffered incest, right? They told me that my energy was so powerful in this realm that I had to experience these traumas so that I could wake up, so that I could remember. And the only way that I was able to remember is to live these traumas, that this wasn't my first time living them. I've been here many, 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 many times. And they showed me memories of that and visions of that. And that gave me everything that I needed so that I can continue. The stones that I use, specifically galena and rhodochrosite, were stones that I used that were going to help me go into that shadow side, that place that was so uncomfortable to visit. And I was able to go there and get the gems that I needed. And the gems that I needed were that I'm not foreign to this energy, to this sexual, sacral energy. It is not foreign to me. It is me and who I am. I am the divine feminine. And when I started calling onto Mother, right? Mother started giving me all of the information that I needed about myself so that I can continue to discover myself. Please do not think that I'm completely self-actualized. Not yet, right? The completion comes when I'm out of the meat suit. While I'm here, I'm still growing, evolving, and learning. And when it comes to this trauma, that is something that is everything. Sexual trauma, sacral energy, that is what we use to create everything. That's how you got here. That's how we all got here. So their job was to make sure that that was fucked up, that you couldn't come back from that. And there's a lot of us that weren't able to come back in a lot of lifetimes. But guess what? We did come back. We are our ancestors. This is not your first time here. And there's many times that you have had experiences that have traumatized you in this lifetime. It's kind of like, hey, remember who you are. And that's why these things are happening. And so when we focus on the fact that our power is what has drawn all of these challenges into our existence, it changes the game. And it changed the game for me. I became completely single in purpose on getting to know me, identifying my chakra system. I wanted to know, what's this responsible for? What's my third eye responsible for? What's my crown chakra responsible for? What is this curly hair responsible for? Like, I was doing everything that I needed to do so that I could know myself. And yes, I was dancing, I was twerking, but I was doing these things in the privacy of my space, in a way that I can grow and learn and get communication from my ancestors and spirit guides as these things are happening. Because as the divine feminine, that's all we got to do. look, we do some of this, we do some of this motion, and this is already bringing energy over here to me. And this is why I gotta be careful. And I can't just do that, because when I do that, I know what it brings. And this is why I make sure I cover myself up to make sure that I'm good. It's not because I'm not powerful and I'm not proud of this body. It's because I know the power of this ache that comes through every pore. And it don't matter how thin or how thick or how fat or how skinny, that does not matter. It's your ache. It is you, right? And so when you recognize the power of that and the grace, right, to be able to have this womb and this yoni. I mean, it is just so beautiful and wonderful. And it's a thing that when you fall in love with yourself, that's when you become stingy.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I had a question that was burning me up. I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to interrupt. But now I'm going to jump into ask you that question. Excuse me. And then I'm going to respectfully ask if you can repeat that again, because I know some people in the back that probably didn't hear it. So they may. I just shared that today on a conversation call myself about booing yourself up. Who gonna boo you better than you, boo? Straight up, men or women. Like, love you, get in a relationship with you, boo you to F up, like boo
Yes.
you, because who else gonna boo you better than you? You know what I'm saying? And then
Nobody.
you can take that energy that you got, you know what I'm saying, that you done poured into you and pour that into another person whose frequency, you know what I'm saying, matches your frequency, to where now y'all can boo it up together too, boo. Yes, sir. But let me ask you this, because I was burning, this question was burning me up, because now you said I am SEG13. I'm big with numbers, and I know numbers have a very powerful connotation or frequency, or, you know what I'm saying, like they have a very powerful manifestation, whatever you want to call it, activation, crystallization, whatever, inspiration, you name it, right? 13 is a very powerful number. It's sacred to me for my own personal reasons, but what did, or where did, if you don't mind me asking, 13 come from for it to be in your name? Was it the 13 chakras? Was it the number of the mothers? Or, like, if you don't mind me asking, because I was curious about that in regards to like where it came into your name.
My name is Maria. The letter M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. There was a gentleman at the time that was talking a lot about that number, and I was really attracted more into the meaning of it. And then I started studying the number, and I learned that the number 13 is the number of the divine feminine. It is the number of creation and destruction. It is a very powerful number that people have used since the beginning of time. If you look in the Bible, the Jesus and his 12 disciples is 13. If you look at private corporations or most public corporations, they start a board, and their board, there's 13 members. Like, this number has been used. That, okay, you have to consider that when there's movies and so many things done to get you scared of a number, come on, like, you got to look behind the curtain, And so when I looked behind the curtain, I realized that there was just so much power in that number that I needed to use it in absolutely everything in my life. 13, everything. H13, H13.
Yes, sir. Listen. Listen. So what it sounds like to me is, because we uncovering and unlearning and relearning some things, and we discover and uncover. One of my favorite videos on YouTube from Customato, featuring his journey with teaching Mike Tyson. Discover and uncover. So to me, I feel like I discovered something, and I'm going to uncover something. So what you mean is, like, is that the reason why we don't have a 13th floor on elevators in any building that goes higher than 13 floors? Would that be?
Sí, señor. Yes, sir. They want to make you so scared because the number has such a powerful frequency that when you start using it and you call upon that number, your vibrational frequency along with that number is kind of like an antenna. It's like a wand, right? So if I'm saying 13 love and I am vibrating love, then that's going to be amplified and it's going to go out. It's amazing. It's amplifying that energy. But if I say 13 fuck that shit, then that's what will happen too. You know what I'm saying? So when people start to recognize the power of who they are, there is no turning back. There is when people start to recognize that you are the angel and the devil. You know what I'm saying? It's all inside of you, as above, so below. It is all within you. And so it's about being able to recognize it and be able to find the balance within it and know when, you know, when you got to do what you got to do. It is about complete balance. Everything is absolutely negative. I mean, necessary. There can't be any positive without the negative. It is all necessary. It's a matter of our perception of it. And so the way that these things have been perceived, the number 13 has been perceived as something so dark and evil that when people think about it, they're vibrating fear. They're scared of that number. So they're actually using that number, and the people that know about it, they're able to manipulate the energy of fear for their benefit. So Friday the 13th, and everybody's scared, and everybody's like, ugh. So what they're doing is they're using their tools, right? They're using their tools, and they're harnessing your energy, and they're saying, okay, I want to put this over here. I'm trying to build a mansion for all of my family. I want to build this over there. I'm going to get this land over there. I'm going to build this hospital. I'm going to kill all them motherfuckers, and I'm going to get all the money. Yep. That's what they've been doing the whole time.
Listen, listen. While you catch your breath from spitting all them flames, I'm gonna give a shout out to another flame spitter. Shout out to my boy 3 Stacks, Andre 3000, man, and Outcast. Because as we talking about that, all I could hear is I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, the song Elevators. My boy Dre said, I got off at the 13th floor. Then they told me that it wasn't one. They said it skipped from 12 to 14. Still smoking, still drinking. Now I'm sitting on the at 4 a.m. thinking that in reality the world is like a ball full of players. But anyway, we playing it heavy tonight, man. And shout out to the Odu of Otora, which is 13. And shout out to everybody in Tampa, man. 813, that 8 Obatala number, and then that 13. So yeah, we doing some numbers in here tonight, man. I like these numbers.
Numbers are important. Numbers are everything. Like right now for me, I'm 54, which is really a 9. And I'm about to step into my 10, 55 in December. The beginning of the year is going to be completely brand new for me, stepping into a whole new age for me. So if you recognize numerology, astrology, and nature, it will help you tremendously with life. Okay. I have been living, I minister. I am a minister of self-healing. I am a private minister of self-healing, and all of my things, everything that I have, I don't own anything. I own nothing. My ministry controls everything that I have. Everything is protected by Infinionaire Ministries. So I'm able to be free and do what I do because I came here to have this spiritual experience because I remember who I am. And when I get out of here, everything that I'm accumulating in this soul, that's coming with me. This flesh, y'all can keep it. I'm probably not going, my next one is probably just going to be some wings. I mean, soaring like an eagle somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what me and Most High have planned for my next arrival to this planet.
Listen, if the wings in the halo fit, then go ahead and rock that shit. Yeah, that's how I see it, man. Look, because I said we going in tonight, boy. I'm feeling real poetic out in the streets. I say streets. So, because I'm a nerd and I like to read a lot, and I got a decent little library, man. When it comes to numbers, humbly, I feel like I got a decent library. I ain't saying I got the best one, but I know I got a strong one. But when it comes to numbers, man, shout out to the tribe. This is a good book. I'll never forget. I got from one of my elders, man, from one of my teachers, spiritual teachers, who told me to get this book when I first started my journey with Ifa Sheshe, because like you said, numbers is everything, especially when we're talking about the Odu. We spoke about the Odu on the last episode when it comes to Ifa and Ifa divination. Without the Odu, the feminine aspects of the Odu, the Babalawo can't really deliver the message without having the numerical value of the message coming from the Odu as the messenger, right? So there's 256 total Odu, 16 major Odu. But I say all that to say, when you're talking about numbers, if you have some sort of, I would feel like connection or some sort of, tool in your tool belt in regards to where you can kind of calculate numbers and utilize numbers, it's always something that's beneficial because there's always something to be revealed, kind of like you're saying, like even when it comes to nature, what I'm saying? Like numbers are always revealing something. And when you mentioned the 9, you know, with you being 54, that brings me back. This is something that we spoke about heavy in the first, I say the first 6 to 7 months of this year. But this is a 9 year. This is a divine 9 year with 2025. 2 plus 0 plus 5 plus 2 is, you know what I'm saying, a 9. So
completion.
Now, there you go. So I'm gonna step out the way. You go ahead and do what you do.
I wanted to talk about, because you talked before about the energy and what I did with the energy with Orgon. And so I want to share about when I was going in that journey of self-discovery. There's a thing that had to happen in my life too. I had to become celibate. And so becoming celibate was extremely difficult in my mind, because I was like, what? You know, I was coming from a situation where it was very heavy in that world. And it was natural because in my life, I did a lot of self-medication through sex. Right. And even in a relationship, like sometimes we think, and that was my whole thing too. It's like, oh, I'm in a relationship, so that I kind of gave myself a reason to abuse that sacral act. And I surely did. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do with this energy? And this is where the dance came in, because I had no desire to go and be with anyone. I knew, right? And this is not something that happens that something's going to be taken that you're not ready, you know, to be without it, right? This is not like, okay, well, then I'm just going to give up sex right now. When it is time for this to happen for you, you will know, and it will happen. And so when it was happening for me, the first thing that started happening was movement. I needed to be able to move my body. And I've always been a dancer, so I knew how to move that energy. And then I knew, I started just getting messages. It's time to create. That energy that you're feeling is not about, you know, giving your coochie to nobody. It's about creating something. What are you going to create? And so I started doing this work. Every piece that I made had this energy of my sexual, creative, every juice, everything that I had was in here. Now, here's the beautiful part. This is my favorite part. You know that feeling, that orgasmic feeling when you're having relations? You're able to access that feeling for a long periodically time if you do it correctly, right? If you're moving that energy within yourself, men are able to do that as well. That's what they call ejaculation. So women are able to do that too, and take that energy and move it around your body. You create with it, and you can make it so that it lasts infinitely. It lasts forever. I put that energy in this, and now this, because of its formula, is giving the energy that I put in it right back to me. And this is why it is so important. And I am writing a book about it. I'm writing a basic book on how to create Orgon energy batteries, because this is not just about creating something. This is about the energy that you're putting into your creation. This is about what is in your mind. This is about your vibrational frequency, and taking that and bottling that shit up for real, you know? And so when you're doing that, when you do this, what's happening is continuously healing, sending healing back to you. Our ancestors use this to mummify the bodies, not just so that they could preserve the vessel, but so that they could preserve the journey of the soul. This is why they created this technology, or not created the technology. The technology has always been here. It's natural, it's part of life, but they alchemized it. They used it in a different form. Wilhelm Reich used it in a different form. Karl Hans used it in a different form. Jerry Miller uses it in a different form. Bro Honk uses it in a different form. I use it in a different form. It is all Orgon technology. This technology exists naturally on the planet, and it exists naturally in us. This is Ache. This is prana. This is life force. And the reason why they have it hidden is because they know what happens to people once they connect to this type of energy. Do you remember what happened in the Matrix when Neo was sitting there and he plugged in the back of his head? That's what happens with the Orgon and with crystals and with water and with nature, with the trees, with all of it. You just have to give your attention and your time to it. You got to get away from what it looks like, what other people are saying, because see, spirituality is a theme right now. It's a fad right now, right? You know, there's some people that actually think that spirituality is something that you have a choice in. This is now the marriage of the spiritual and the physical. This is what's happening. And this is why the sexual healing, the spiritual sexual healing is so important. Do you know how many people are breaking up right now?
Oh.
Do you know how many people are breaking up right now?
Oh, yeah, that's a
Why?
lot.
Because Lauryn Hill said it, two MCs can't exist in the same space at the same time. It's against the laws of physics.
One more
right?
time
So,
for the people in the back. One more time for the people. Because look, we're quoting some dope art tonight. So go keep one more time for the people in the back, because I love that album.
Two MCs cannot exist in the same place at the same time. It's against the laws of physics. So that means that I'm the MC, you're the MC. If we're not vibrating in the same frequency, guess who's not going to be together? And it doesn't matter if you're my mother, if you're my brother, if you're my sister, if you have been inside of my body a million times, it does not matter. If we are not vibrating in the same frequency, we will not be able to exist. It's against the laws of nature, of physics. It cannot happen. And so anything in the world that needs to happen in order for that separation to happen is going to happen, right? Because you and I and all of us have the same opportunity to do the work that needs to be done so that we can continue to evolve in this planet. Like heaven and hell is here right now. Like how many of y'all are actually, y'all ain't waiting for nobody to come get you, right? Because if you look in the mirror, you're going to find the person that's going to come get you.
People
and
waiting.
Your alignment to that. Because see, this is another thing that's really funny to me. There's so many people that are like, oh my gosh, I need to get this. I need to get this crystal. I need to get that. Look, all you have to do is speak it. All you have to say is I am. All you have to say is listen to me. Come here. Get whatever it is that you need. You say that and you know who you're talking to and you are going to be answered all the time. No doubt. Because guess what? This is another thing that's really funny. A lot of people be thinking that they don't got no power. Oh, because, I don't got no power. I don't even know what to do. I don't like candles. I don't like nothing. Okay. Wait, hold on. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. All right. Okay. So you are creating your whole existence right now. All of it. All of it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You are creating that. Because infinite intelligence recognizes vibrational frequency, and your body is operating from your subconscious mind. Your subconscious thoughts are what's running all of your reality. So if you look around at your life and you don't like something, you have to change it. You have to fix it. Okay? And when you fix it inside yourself, your whole world is going to change. And I'm not telling you something that I read in a book or that somebody told you. I'm telling you something that I live. I'm telling you something that I've done, and therefore I can tell you how to do it. I can tell you what I've done, but you got to make the choice, right? And it begins with your sexual healing. It begins with that. That's how you got here. And that's what it is. The relationship you have with your mom, you need to fix that shit. And you don't look, you don't have to talk to her. You don't have to call her. She don't like you. You don't like her. You don't get along, whatever. But you have to forgive her. You got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive all of the people that did whatever they did to you. Because anybody who did you any kind of way, let's see, I think that you guys could remember, like, I know y'all could relate to like the whole Bible thing. So you remember Judas? You know why Jesus wasn't mad at Judas? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Because in order for Jesus to get his enlightenment and his evolution, he had to go through the fire. He had to get burnt. He had to get dealt with. He had to get scarred. He had to get, all of that had to happen. All of it. Because if none of that would have happened, he wouldn't have been Jesus. He wouldn't have been able to show who he was. And that's just like a metaphor, an example of a being that came. Because y'all know Jesus, there's no way his name could have been Jesus. But anyway, I'm not going to get into all that. But I'm just saying that to say that every individual is that crystalline, that Christ being. And so every individual has to make the choice on how they want their life to exist. So you just got to decide.
And you know, and I feel like most people, if not everybody on, I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to or knows the Jesus story, but they stole that from the Asarian drama, you know, from Kemet. But so we can go back to the story of Asar, Aset, and Heru. But shout out to, I think it was Maria mentioned Supreme Mathematics. This is one of my Supreme Mathematics right here, which is a dope book. Shout out to African Creation and Energy as well, because their whole series is dope. But this is another book that actually I feel like I like this one better than the first one I shared, because it speaks about numerology, but it breaks it down from a metaphysical and from a melanated perspective. You know what I mean? And it goes through all of the traditional African cultures, whether it be Ifa, the Kemetic tradition, the Akan tradition, the Dogon. Like, I mean, they go ham in that. I mean, ham in that whole series. And they got books on every element of education, whether it's science, whether it's mathematics, whether it's architect, whether it's the 9 Ether book, you know, with energy and re-engineering. Like, it's a dope series. So shout out to African Creation Experience for the work that they've done and they've done for the culture. But shout out to Maria for sharing that in the comments on Supreme Mathematics. I'm not sure if she was talking about that same as that book, but it triggered something in me to share that book. So we covered a lot of ground, man, in a little bit of time, and I could already see, like, just based off the comments, like the tribe is riled up, man, with the, you know, the energy that's being shared and the information. So when it comes to because I feel like this is definitely, or one of your specialties or superpowers, this whole healing with the Orgon battery pack crystals. Would you say that is used more so for healing in regards to our journeys, or how we can utilize it as a tool? Or would you say that it you know, it's stronger in protection, or does it do both? Or like, I'm about to get that, like that came from Atlantis or something. Let me get off the screen. Can you share?
It assists with everything. This is an energy filter. So right now, not just in this space, but in this entire neighborhood, this pyramid is filtering the energetic space from the power lines, electromagnetic frequencies, digital pollution. This is also assisting with the idea of the poverty conscious mentality, because we've been talking about sexual healing. Well, the way that you feel about yourself is the way that you feel about money. And when you recognize who you recognize that you are the money, an infinite, an infinite being. And so this technology does way more than one thing. And this is sacral sexual energy. This is chi. This is prana. This is life force. Whatever I command of it, it will do. And so anything that is beneficial, you cannot use this technology for anything negative. It is not going to work. The design of it, of this inorganic and organic material and these layers, the scientific way of what it is produced to create high vibrational, beneficial energy and to transform it. So it has many, many benefits. And I am so happy that I'm able to bring this information to you all, because I've been doing this for a long time and people haven't been wanting to talk about it. So I chat.
Well, let me get my Jodeci on. Come and talk to me. I really listen, because look, I'm telling you, boy, look, the hip hop and the music is just all through my veins tonight, boy, because we is turning this thing all the way up, boy. Nothing can stop us. We all the way up.
All the way
Must be them damn power pyramids you got something. Look, I had to go get another bottle of water, boy. I had to get a refill, boy, because my energy is all the way on swole, boy. This thing is nuts. So, okay. So, clearly I underestimated the abilities of it, but I really I feel like I just want to get you crunk up a little further because that really looked like it came from Atlantis. Like that thing, like that's dope.
I have another one that I made for and maybe you could tell me this in IFA and in IFA. Who is Archangel Raphael? Who is he hiding under? Who's hiding under him?
You know that I'm gonna have to do some research on that, only because that would definitely fall more under, I would say, the Santeria or Leukemia aspects of the tradition or the culture. So I had to look into that because I haven't like figured out like which ones go with which, but I know there's certain ones that go with certain Orishas. Like they use, you know, saying certain saints to cloak, you know, certain Orisha, but I don't have like my resume in regards to the Santeria aspects isn't as vast as it is in like traditional Isheshe or Ifa, but I'll find that and I'll get it to you for sure.
Okay.
I'll do some research on it.
This was because I work with a lot of different deities, orishas. When they come to me and they ask to work with me, I may take them up on their offer.
Right.
And so Archangel Raphael came and he wanted me to create something for him that has bells in it. This is a 2-person job too, by the way. And so I created this with a partner, and this is very, very powerful for if you're wanting to connect with the angelic realm. If you're a person that has that high connection, this has a lot of selenite in it. So you're able to use this technology. This technology is working even by you looking at it. You don't have to hold it or have it in order for it to have an effect. That's what scalar energy is. Scalar energy is multidimensional, a multidimensional frequency that moves faster than the speed of light. So you just looking at it is having an effect, whether you, doesn't matter what you believe because it's science.
I say, well, listen, and it's cool that you shared that, because while you were doing that, I was able to do the quick research and knowledge on Archangel Raphael. So what I found was that the comparison is to the Orisha of Orinle. Orinle is a healer, you know what I'm saying? Like Orinle would be similar to like Osian. So Osian is like the deity of the herbs, you know what I'm saying, and the plant medicine and healing. Whereas Orinle would be personified as a healer, kind of like I guess he would be affiliated with like Ochosi, but he's also, I feel like, kind of, because Orgone is known as a healer as well as a surgeon, because he's the ironsmith. So Orinle is an Orisha that's dedicated to healing and medicine. You know what I'm saying? Is connected to the water. So that's the little quick research I was able to pull up real quick while you were sharing that.
And that's funny you said connected to the waters because we put shells in there also. Yeah. And this is what's so cool. Okay. So in creating the Orgon technology, and this is why it's so important and why I'm a huge advocate of it for sacral, sexual, spiritual healing, because when you start doing this work, you don't need a language. You're going to know what to do. When I started working with us, look, this is a citrine right here. I didn't go to school to make no jewelry and to twist and do these things. I didn't do that. I just tapped in and I channeled into my ancestors that, gave me the information or just the memory of me having done it before in another life. And I wanted to make it functional healing art wearable so that I could wear it and you don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it looks like jewelry, but it's functional healing art. My phones, those cell phones, I got power bracelets. I make a timeless watch so that when you look at it, you can remember that the time is now. You understand? It's like all of this is preparation for what is already here. They're not going to tell us how to protect ourselves from the era of technology. And so this is why this information is here. I am not the only engineer. There are thousands of people doing this work. And this is why it's important for the people that do this work, that do become private, because you have to protect your intellectual property so that you're able to share the message with people without being bothered. So I'm sure we're going to talk about those things at another time as well. But Orgon technology, for me, was the way to so many things. There's when it comes to neurological disorders, that's a whole nother thing that we can get into another time. When it comes to migraines, Orisa Gbemi, blue calcite in Orgon, that will do the trick right there. There's so many remedies. When you put any stone inside of an Orgon device, that stone's metaphysical healing properties are amplified. And so when you put your knowledge of the stone okay, so for example, I know what crystal quartz is for and what it does. Now it's here in this wand. So now that power is amplified. Now my power of knowledge, my power of knowing what this does, and me saying and visualizing what I want and using this to direct my vision, Ache. And so it is. This place that you're seeing, this is the layer. This layer was a vision that was given to me in 2010. Actually, it was 2011 because it was after the Orgon. There's Orgon energy batteries all over this place. Every chair has Orgon energy batteries under them. This space was designed so that people could come in and just be. You don't got to follow no instructions. You don't got to do nothing I tell you to do, because I ain't going to tell you what to do no way. You just have to be. Just be still and be here and let it do what it does. Now, when you go into your own space, you ask your questions. You do what you need to do, and you'll know what to do if you meditate and you focus on yourself. And don't tell me that you don't know how to meditate, or that you can't meditate, or that meditation is too hard, because by you saying that, you're creating that. So when you start saying meditation is easy, I do it every day, it comes to me so easy, then you're going to find that meditation is going to come to you so easy. Ache, I yield.
I say, oh, yeah, that's powerful, man. It reminded me of one of the, I can't remember what mic drop you had, but one of the mic drops in the private call, like, yo, I need to clip that up and put that Marvin Gaye up under that thing. Cause when I get that feeling, I want to sexual healing. I can't remember what part it was, but I was like, yo, I got to make a clip and put that Marvin up under that thing. Cause it was something you said, I was like, that would be dope with that clip, with that, that soundtrack under it. So I'm gonna have to find that and like clip it up and bump it, because man, it was some mic drops in that call, and this one is just as well, man. So it's like, that was powerful. Like, I can't even keep up with the comments. Shout out to the tribe, because like they like, yo, that crystal was amazing. Somebody said it like the universe. Yeah. Shout out to Jay McDonald, man. I was like, yo, because I'm like, it's like the universe, and it just, for some reason, I just thought nothing but Atlantis came to my mind when I saw it. I'm like, yo, that's powerful. Like,
I wanna share something with you guys that Dr. Delbert Blair taught me. I created, this is a mini chi generator. And this mini chi generator, I made it flat so that you could put it under your pillow. And you put it under your pillow, and before you go to rest at night, you say, let my mind stay awake while my body rests. You say that 4 times for north, south, east, and west. Let my mind stay awake while my body rests. What you're doing is you're commanding your mind to stay conscious in your rest state. Because a lot of people think that the dream state is not real, that it ain't nothing. It is everything. It is a whole nother world that teaches you everything that you need so that you can function in your physical world. So when you say these things, drink a cup of water so that you could wake up like in the middle of the night and say it again and repeat it again. You're commanding yourself to be conscious. So the word sleep means to cease consciousness. And the reason why they put it in the movies and made the songs and, you know, everything, go to sleep, I'm going to sleep, everybody going to sleep. They did that on purpose. They know the language. They know how to make us spell ourselves to do things that they want us to do so that we could be easier to manipulate. So stay awake. I chair to Dr. Delbert Blair. I will always and forever mention you. And remember to say that so that when you, and get a pen and a paper by your bedside so that you could write the things that you bring back from that state, be it a color, a symbol, whatever it is that you remember, bring it back. And then you will start remembering more and more without even having to write it down.
Ashe, oh, and real quick, always and forever.
Get me started. Each moment with you.
Every time I hear that song, I think about House Party, man. Every time I hear it, I don't know why, but that was one of my favorite movies. But shout out to Dr. Blair, man. Look, I told you I'm a nerd, so I got some of his work as far as his books, and I definitely got a lot of his videos, a lot of his recordings, a lot of, I've been invested a nice pair of coins into the information that I've learned from Dr. Blair. Shout out to Tony, who's still holding it down for his legacy with the Medicine, man. Tony is doing really good work with carrying on the torch of Dr. Blair. So I want to give a shout out to him because the world within is powerful, because he drops a lot of wisdom, and I feel like you have to be, and I say this with the utmost respect and not, like coming for anybody in regards to where you are in your journey, but you definitely have to be at a certain level, I feel like, of your spiritual journey to really be able to grasp the significance of the body of work in which Dr. Blair has laid out, because I'll never forget the first time I was even exposed to him. And shout out to Professor Kaba. I got to get with him. Hopefully we can get him back on in the very near future too. But I was watching one of his videos years ago when I was just studying him on YouTube like a nerd, just watching all his videos and, just researching them. And I remember in one of his videos, he was talking about Dr. Blair. He was like, man, Dr. Blair is one of them brothers that when you talk to him, and he said this verbatim, I'll never forget it, because when he said it, I'm like, I don't know who this Dr. Blair dude is, but if he did this to Professor Kaba, I got to find out who this brother is. So he was like, Dr. Delbert Blair is like, he's one of them brothers where he's so deep, when you talk to him or you listen to him speak, it's like if your mind was rubber bands and he pulls the layer of your rubber band that he, say he could pull, and he pulls it all the way back as far as he could pull it before it pops, and then he lets it go and pew and pow, it just come back, because his knowledge and his wisdom was so significant that it stretched your mind. It was just so dope the way he painted the picture of the story of what Dr. Blair was to him. So for me to hear that from him, and shout out, there was somebody who left a comment today that I saw on the tribe, man. Shout out to who left a comment about the videos with me and Professor Kaba. They were saying like they could see the admiration of when I'm speaking to him, of how I look up to him, and I'm like, that's real, because that's what it is. And so when he said that about Dr. Blair, I'm like, yo, I gotta find out who this brother is. And man, the very first video I saw, I'll never forget. He was in a hotel room and he had on a red shirt. I think it had a collar on it and short sleeve, and he was just, somebody was interviewing, he was just dropping jewels after jewels after jewels. And from that point on, I felt like Neo in the Matrix when he saw the little bunny rabbit on the lady's neck when they came to get him from the room. I felt like that in my, excuse me, in my mind, I felt like that part of the Matrix. I had to go down that rabbit hole. And man, I binged watched his videos. I looked at everything I could find on him until I found his website and tapped in. But he had, transitioned not too long after that, so I never got the chance to meet him or speak to him. But his work is phenomenal. He's on my Freedom Fighter Shrine right now. So I say a lot to say, man, like I feel like a mutual student of Dr. Blair. How significant do you feel like our knowledge and our, I would say, understanding or proficiency with using crystals, like how can we use that, and like what can we do to get to where we're at the level where we can work with them in the capacity that you're working with them? Like how does that look for a beginner? Like where do you start?
Pick up a book. There's a book called The Book of Stones, Who They Are and What They Tell Us, by Robert Penny Slinger. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna have to get the name of the authors of that book, and start picking up some stones. Go to your local stone shop and just go in there and use your hands and feel around and see what speaks to you, see what calls to you. You can also do this. Go by the river and touch stones there. Just because they don't have like a pretty color or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They still have a lot to say, especially the stones by the river. So that's why I would say to begin is learning about who they are. Get a book.
I say, oh yeah, I got somebody mentioned this earlier too. I got that book. I got one of them. I think she got multiple like versions or what have you. But I have the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. That was one of the first books that I bought when I like started my crystal journey, and it helped out tremendously because it gave me the ability to. And what I learned too is like I did know about the main basic. I feel like crystals that most people know about, like your quartz and your tourmaline and your what's the other one? There's another red one. I can't remember the name. It was pretty popular.
Red jasper.
What is it? Red jasper. There's another one. Carnelian.
Carnelian.
Obsidian. Yeah. So I learned quite a bit about some of the main basic ones, but I did hear, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was like a Bobby Hemmett. I don't know who it was, but it was another master teacher who was sharing like you don't have to necessarily pick crystals. The crystals can pick you, or your energy will vibrate or reverberate with it to where you gravitate and you get it, and then you can do the math afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because the connection's already been made. I think for kind of like people, for those who have pets, I feel like that's how I remember I picked my first dog out. Like that's how I kind of picked him, is because I went with the energy, of the connection. Who I connected with in that very first initial meeting. So I think that's how crystals can be for us as well. Right?
They will talk to you. They will, their energy will connect to you. And something important to know about working with raw crystals. This is why a lot of people get afraid of the crystals, because a crystal, this is a raw crystal. So this crystal is going to take on the energy. It's going to take on my energy. It is also, because this is a being, right? This being is also going to project the energy that it takes on. So if I have this energy for a week and I'm frustrated and I'm upset, this energy is going to be sucking on that energy, but it's also going to start emitting that energy out as well. So if I don't clean this, if I don't soak it and clean that negative energy off of it, it's going to make my crystal malfunction and give me energy that I don't want. Same thing with the smoky quartz. It'll start, the effects of the properties of it can go against you, so to speak. And this is why a lot of people get afraid of it. When they're inside of the Orgon generator, an Orgon energy battery, it is now protected. So now anybody could touch this. I don't have to cleanse it. I don't have to do anything because of the formula, the metals and the resin in it. It's naturally doing that on its own. It's cleansing itself. I don't got to charge it. I don't have to do anything like that. If somebody touches it, they touch it, their energy is just going to be transformed. I don't have to worry about it emitting any negative energy. So when you are working with your raw crystals, don't let other people touch it. And if you're touching them and you have, bought them a lot of negative energy, then you want to put them under running water, soak them in salt water, put them in the moon, under the moon, under the sun, talk to them, cleanse them, command for that energy to be transformed and removed. And so that's definitely important, because there's a lot of people that are really sensitive right now and they don't recognize the reason of their sensitivity. We're being allowed to see more, to feel more, so that we could have more discernment. And so even if you are not identifying that it's happening, that doesn't mean that it's not happening. So when you're using your stones, like, don't play around. If you got raw stones, create a ritual for yourself to cleanse them. If you got people that are coming through your space, it's picking up on that energy as well. They don't necessarily have to touch them for the stones to pick up and be affected by another person's vibe.
That's deep too, man, because excuse me, it reminds me, well, it triggers two things in my mind. One, it reminds me of what we call an E5 or an Isheshe, Ofo Ashe. So it's like the power of the tongue. You know what I mean? So, the power of the tongue has the power to heal. It has the power to construct, or it has the power to destroy. It has the power to tear down. It has the power to pick up. So it sounds like that energy, based off the crystal, I feel like reciprocity, or, I guess the programmable aspects of it is based upon what we are putting out, right? Like as above, so below, as within, so without. So how does one I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So how do you, like, what would be a technique or some sort of tool, or a nugget of advice or jewel that you could drop that would give us the I would say the ability, or at least the intention of, like, setting good intentions in regards to how we have our mind, and when our mind and our space when we're in the vicinity of these crystals, so we don't give the wrong energy off to kind of like programming them in a negative light versus how we need them to be in a constructive light.
Definitely your own energy, not being fearful, not being afraid, but being more of a commander of the
Mm,
energy. Like, let's say you go into a space and there's all these crystals and stuff at a store. So you
mm,
walk in there and say, nothing that is going to, make me shake you or is going to disrupt my energy flow is allowed to enter my space or enter my realm. You can even do that and do a space, right? And say, nobody can touch me from here. Nothing comes over here. I'm protected. You know what I'm saying? It's like your words, your power, your own energy is powerful. And so,
mm.
and you don't even have to do all that, because we don't, if you don't want to make a spectacle, you're in your own silence in your mind,
Right.
make your energy a protection and speak that. And so you definitely have to give yourself credit for being the master. You are the master of your vessel, the master of your creation. And
Mm,
so you have dominion over all of these energies. It is up
mm,
to you to command and say when and no and yes. And, all of that is really super important.
mm,
Um, it's so important. Uh, Definitely, we got to get into it another time and go deeper into our sacral energy and our sacral energy as women, our sacral energy as men, and what's happening in every action that we take and how we move and how our energy speaks the language of its own that's constantly communicating. And when we don't know what that is, it can get us into a world of trouble. And
Mm,
so, working with the Orgon technology, what happens is it makes you more self-aware.
mm,
So you'll start doing things, and like yourself is going to be like, did you just see what you just did? You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? It's going to
mm-hmm,
help you to be more accountable for your actions, because absolutely every single thing that you do and think and say reflects your life, reflects your reality.
mm. Gotcha. Yes, sir. No, that's facts, man. Shout out to brother Nkosi. You right about extraterrestrial cognitive abilities. When talking about Dr. Blair, he was definitely he was a contactee for sure. He was someone who was contacted, and he shared that, in regards to his story. Depending on anybody who's a fan or a student of his work, and how extensive you follow his work, he definitely had spoken publicly about being a contactee, where he was contacted by a couple of extraterrestrials, and that would, to me, I feel like, quantify the level of, I feel like, mastery he had in the subject matter of metaphysics. Because don't get it twisted, he's a real doctor. You know what I'm saying? So he was a very intelligent brother, or is, I should say, ancestor. But he also had a jolt of, you know what I'm saying, like ashe from extraterrestrial dimensions of the worlds. Like, you know what I mean? So
Like
yeah.
Cradle Mutwan
Yeah, Cradle
also.
Mutua,
Yep.
Dr. York, you know what I'm saying? Dr. York is an extraterrestrial. So yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, hell, I feel like shout out to Uncle Hank. He was on here a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about extraterrestrials, and it came out with like, yeah, it might be a few of them on the channel. I said, yeah, it's probably a few on the show.
Yeah,
Shout out to
100%.
Outcast. Hey,
And look,
extraterrestrial.
some
Yeah.
of them that are ain't gonna say nothing. If
Hmm.
you not figuring it out, they not gonna tell you. How about
Hmm.
that?
Hmm. Hmm. That
They
part.
they'll just stay away from certain places and certain people.
That part. So listen, I know we got to get into wrapping it up, because I got to get up tomorrow and I got to get some appointments knocked out. But I want to get a few more questions in, because we have some dope questions. So I want to make sure that I give a chance for some of the tribe to get some questions in. First and foremost, I think you answered this for us in Patreon, but can you share the tribe? I saw multiple comments saying, like, how can we get in contact with her? And, like, does she have a website, her socials? And then also, where can they, get access to the crystals? Which I know you gave me your answer, on the previous call, and how to do that. But I hate to do it again, but I want to do it again respectfully. I got to put you on the spot, because hopefully I can get you in a private community where we can go in depth with maybe some classes or something with teaching the technology. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I see the comments, I can't keep up with them. So try give me grace in regards, how I'm able to get the comments up here. But I did see people wanting to know, how do we get in touch with her? How do we purchase the crystals? How do we learn how to create these crystals? So I wanted to, give you the floor to share that with the tribe before we get out of here, and anything else you want to share with us.
Okay. You can get in touch with me directly, but I ask you to text first. And that number is 818-233-5776. Please mention that you are connecting with me from, I say, from African Spirituality Experience.
Okay.
And I do not have a store. I create specifically for individuals. My work is part of a service that I offer. So when I connect with you, we have a conversation and we talk about specifically which energy centers need the most work. And so once we come to that conclusion, I create a specific piece for you that's going to work with you on your journey. And if you want to get deeper in the work with me, I create a kit for you that's going to assist you in your dream state, in your walking life, and also a pyramid for your place of work or for your home, wherever you spend the most time with me. I've been doing this for a very long time. People that are connected with me stay connected with me. This is not it's not a business, it's a purpose, it's a journey. You know what I'm saying? So everything is an exchange. I'm an infinionaire. And so, you know, everything is an exchange, but this is more about what the mission is than anything. A lot of times when I'm online, they like to take me away. So you can still find me on Facebook, Master Vibration 13. I am SEG13, and I'm also on TikTok for the moment and Instagram. One time they took me off of TikTok. I only been on TikTok for a little while. I was on there just showing my stuff, and then they banned me for a whole week. Said that I was against their I was spreading misinformation. I wasn't even saying nothing. I was like, dang, just is my wand. You know, they didn't like it.
Well, we know the takeover is official because you know they had all the tizzy that the alphabet boys and the politics had going on with, you know, buying and selling it and all that. So I guess whether it actually got sold and it was a merger and acquisition or a takeover, whatever you want to call it, it looked like the people, the parasites, got their hands in the pot. You know what I'm saying, or I should say in the mix, or you know, of the platform. Because at one point I was hearing that it was like the platform where you could share the most truth and you could share, you know what I'm saying, the most conscious, you know, content without being flagged or without being taken away. I like how you said that, taken away, because I've been taken away multiple times. That's why I've never been a fan.
Yeah. I've been on YouTube for years. They hide us. They do what they do,
Oh
but it's
yeah.
all good because we're always gonna. Everybody's gonna get what they need to get, no matter what. They can't stop us at
Can't
all.
stop energy. And you cannot stop energy. It always was, it always is, and it always will be.
I
If you
say,
don't like it, talk to the creator. I'm just the messenger. Take it up with the universal prime creator, the almighty God. But it
I
always
say,
was, always is, and always will be.
I
We're
say.
just the messengers.
So it is. I do want to also say that my work, because I am a minister, everything is a contribution, and your contributions with me are 100% tax deductible for those of you that are still in that world doing that thing. So yes, it is all private and it is tax deductible for your healing. So ache. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say too, because I talked about being an infinitaire and how you are the money. We didn't get into that, but because you
We can
are
get into
so
it.
valuable, it is important for you today, tomorrow, soon, very soon, buy yourself an ounce of silver, just 1 ounce. It was $50, now it's 52. It's going to keep going up. And if you have it and you hold it, it is going to be very beneficial for you. So, like crypto, nah. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So get yourself some silver. That is important for you to have. Ache, I yield.
Yeah, boy. Listen, we can if you want to go further into the infinite and sharing the jewels. Like I got tired. Like I said, I didn't know how much longer you had, so I wanted to make sure that I did get the questions that I mean, because it's a lot of them, so it's been hard for me to keep up tribe. But I definitely wanted to get, you know, some of the ones that stood out, like how people can connect with you, how, you know, they can invest in the crystals, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, anything else you want to share with the tribe, you got the floor. It's all yours.
I did see somebody ask about black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is an organic stone that is going to help you with electromagnetic frequencies. It is going to help you with anybody that sends any energy to you. It's going to go back to them. So the question was, is it an amplifier? It absolutely is 100% an amplifier. What is happening on the planet right now, there is a reset that is happening. It is a whole global reset. All over the world, it is happening. The whole Babylon has fallen. You understand? And so they're wanting to keep people in fear. That's why your sacral and your root is being attacked constantly. The fear, the videos, sex, all of it is done on purpose, because the more you are afraid, then the easier it's going to be for you to miss out on what's being poured in. Because just like all of this fear is being poured in, there are signals and codes all the time being just rained on this planet for those who are ready to receive it. And how you receive it is by just connecting from all of this, unplugging, plugging into your meditation, plugging into yourself, plugging into nature. That is how you will start to get the information. It's not going to look like it looks for everybody else. That's not what it's going to look like for you. So don't look for that. Just focus on yourself and on raising your vibrational frequency just by going into nature. This doesn't mean to avoid your emotion. If you're having a jacked up ass day, you're having a jacked up ass day. Sit in that emotion of what that is, but do not stew in it. You understand? Figure out what that is. Oh, that's a low vibrational frequency and it's fucking me up right now. Well, let me do everything that I can. Let me start tapping on my meridians. Let me start jumping up and down. Let me start banging on my butt. Let me start spanking myself so that I can change the energy, so that I can raise myself up from that vibrational frequency that's keeping my energy blocked and down. The game is keeping your energy low. That's all it is. That's what they're trying to do. So the higher you keep your energy, and I'm not talking about smoking weed high. I'm talking about going to a tree, connecting to nature. When you're in that tub, in your water, in your tub, you talk to that water that's coming down and you tell it what you want. Thank you for my healthy cells. Thank you for my abundance. Thank you for the prosperity in my life. Thank you for this breath. Right? And so the more that you do that, the more you are in gratitude, the more you are raising that vibrational frequency. And now you are aligning with things that are good. So when we just leave it to energy frequency, low frequency, you're angry, you're mad, you're depressed, you're upset, you're tired, you're mad, all of this low vibrational frequency. So your job is just to raise it up. And there's a lot of basic ways to raise it up. And once you're in that high frequency, anything that exists in that high frequency, you'll have access to. Money, fun, happiness, whatever it is that you identify that high vibrational frequency, you're going to have access to. So the most important thing is how you're feeling. It's not what you're writing down. It's not what you're saying with your mouth. It's what are you feeling? How you feel is how you're going to get whatever it is that you want. So you have to mimic that feeling of what it is that you want. You want to be rich. Why do you want to be rich? It's not the money. It's not the greenbacks. It's a feeling that you get from that richness. So now you want to mimic that feeling. You want to go to a place, it's smiling, you're feeling good. You're imagining your family and how that's making you feel. It is a feeling. That feeling is the only thing that is going to be able to attract that thing that you want. Saying it, looking at pictures and feeling sad about that shit, that's only going to show you more to get sad about. You have to regulate your system so that you know when it's out of whack. You'll be like, I need to check myself. Let me go ground and get on this tree real quick. And then you can come back and then you could, it's this existence of spirituality, this marriage of spiritual and the physical. It's the everyday thing. It's not on Sunday. It's not on Wednesdays. This is your whole entire life. So you got to make it so that it works with you. You don't have to do anything that is not authentic to yourself and to who you are, because infinite intelligence recognizes masks and some fake ass bullshit. So you can't front on Most High. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you recognize that in yourself and you know how to self-regulate, then everything, and man, you're like water,
Yeah,
Achei.
boy. Happy feelings in the air. I don't know, boy. This song's on fleek tonight, boy. And then you was talking about not letting your energy be low. I heard Yin Yang Twins get low to the window. And then I heard that, I don't know, I think it was it Styles P when you were talking about having the energy high. I get high every day. I was like, man, them songs are going crazy. Boy, I had a jukebox in my head tonight, man. It's the crystal.
Can I say something to the women?
Yeah, go ahead.
Diosas. There is nothing more magnetic than your confidence in yourself, your knowing of who you are. I got to go back to celibacy because this is so important. A lot of women think that, oh, I lost my virginity, and so now I'm a whore, whatever it is that you think, right? But when you make a choice to be sacred with yourself and to honor yourself, you get all of that back. Like you get it all back. Your body, your temple, it is for you to discover and to learn so that you can use it in the way that is meant for you to use. Like our power as the divine feminine, just in this little finger, in this little movement, we have everything. In the stare, in the way our lips move, in anything that we do, because as the divine feminine, we are constantly being looked at, right? And so with the energy that we reflect, we change the world. And so they don't want us to know that. And this is why they have dirtied us, put us all the way to the ground with everything that's out there, and no judgment to anybody, because everybody has to do what they do so that we could see and we could know. I'm not mad at Beyonce. I ain't mad at Cardi B. I ain't mad at nobody. Everybody has to do their job so that we can see, so that we can make choices, right? And so this energy that we carry as the divine feminine is absolutely everything. And it is what's needed right now. The world being in the matriarch world, a lot of, okay, to my brothers, microphone check, 1 2 1 2. Y'all, we can't take your manhood. You always going to be a man. We can't be you. No matter how hard we try, there is nothing that we could do to be you, to be, oh, we can kind of be like you a little bit. However, no, there is no you like you, and we need you. We need you to be you, and we need to be us. We need to be divine and feminine, masculine, all of it, because we're all of that. Just like sometimes you got to go into your divine feminine nature. We like that too. You know, we are all of it, and we have to exercise that in this time. So don't be afraid of thinking that somebody's going to take anything away from you, because we're not. We just need to be in our position. Let us do what we need to do. We know what to do. We're not going to step on y'all. We're not going to, cut nothing off. Well, unless you deserve it. But anyway, I'm just saying, just let us do this together, because we need each other. Us going back to a matriarch society, it's not like it was. There was a time where the matriarchy, it was the women were the rulers and all of that, and then the men had to get their turn. All that happened. Well, now we're going into perfect balance where we're able to utilize both energies equally, and everybody could just be. That's where we're at right now. So this battle of the sexes shit, that was a bullshit ass program that they put on us so that we could hate each other, and so that we could think that one is better than the other. And so I just hope that y'all get that, because that's just the most ridiculous fight ever. We need each other. And when we come together, this sexual magic that everybody wants to do and everybody wants to have access to, first I will say you can do sexual magic with yourself. You're welcome. The other thing that I will say is that when you do sexual magic with a partner, you are the ultimate. That's when you are like, oh my gosh. You get with your partner, you look at them, you know each other, you know how they're vibrating organically, they know how you're vibrating organically. Every time you orgasm, abracadabra. And so it is. Everything that you desire, everything that you visualize, everything that you want in your family is going to manifest through this gift that you have of lovemaking with somebody that you are actually connected to, like for real, for real. The people that you connect to without intention, without the knowledge of it, you are adopting everything that they are. You're taking all of them in. And for women, for us, it's a lot more difficult because we're internal. We take it all in. For a man, look, this is what a man could do. You could take your thing, right? And you could take a crystal quartz. It's better if you have an Orgon energy battery, but you could take a crystal quartz and you take your phallus and you sweep that energy off. You was with the woman, you think about her, and with love, you take all of her energy off of you. Ache, send it back to her, remove yourself, relieve it. And there's other things that you could do as well, but we do have to take this energy off of us. As women, you can use a yoni egg. If you have a professional that knows how to do this work, you can do it in this form as well. And you can take that energy off of you to an extent. But as a woman, as this divine, mechanism of a woman that you are, it stays in you. The DNA of every partner that you ever had is in you forever. So make peace with it and arrange it within your system so that it's not affecting you. You know why they call us crazy? Because when we start getting the energies of not only the men, but the men and women, everybody who you slept with now is coming in me, and now you think I'm crazy. Oh, well, yeah, that's what happens because it's real. These things are very much real, but we act like it's a joke, and it's not. You know, when a man is caught up in a woman, or when a woman is, could I say digmatized?
Message.
Okay. So when a man is pussified, when a woman is stigmatized, these are energies that it's like a drug, right? So it's like you can't say, you know how people are like, oh, I'm just gonna walk in, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do nothing. And as soon as you walk in the door, you see that flesh or that whatever tone happens, and all bets are off, you're butt naked doing everything. It's because it is an energy, it's a powerful energy that is meant to manifest and create everything. So we have to use it wisely, because there is no, you lose your mind when that happens, like for real. So these people that once they do it, then they're crying and they're sick. They can't believe that. Well, I mean, yeah, I get it that everybody has to be responsible, but we can't lose the science. We can't lose sight of the fact that something is scientifically happening to where it's pulling you, right? And if you were not, you know what I'm saying? If you don't got it together, your chakra system is not aligned. If you don't know who you are, then you're just going to allow yourself to be swept away and taken by love because it's love. That's some bullshit. And love don't do no stuff like that. Love is a frequency. When you feel it, you feeling it. And when you're not feeling it, it ain't love. So let's not confuse that. It is a sexual act that is very powerful and energetic, that is happening on purpose so that things could be created. I feel.
Love is all we need. Listen, oh man, yeah, this has been a night, man. This has been a night. This has been a night for real, for real, for real. Like, yeah, this was dope. Yeah, that was powerful. Shout out to the tribe, man. I definitely appreciate the love, the support, the interaction, the engagements. You know, y'all show me some grace for keeping up with the comments, because y'all was going ham. Y'all was going ham, boy. The tribe was tribing tonight, man. It was tribing in the comments.
I would like to say to the tribe that I love y'all. I mean, the support that I've gotten just from being on the private call with you. I also want to send a major shout out to Orisha Stone for kicking it off, to Journey to Bliss, to Dr. Latanya. I mean, the people that have allowed me to speak on their platforms, you have made such a shift in my world. And the people that have used my number, right? Because it's like, I ain't afraid to give it out, because the people that are supposed to call are only the ones that call, that text first, actually. But I just want to say thank you. That's a testament to the work that you men are doing on these platforms. And I am just grateful and thrilled to be a part of it. I've been in my cocoon for a long time. I've been away for 8 years. I haven't made a video in a long time. And it's very refreshing to come out to platforms like yours and Orisha Stone and the ladies. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Already, man. Already. Yeah, it's an honor and a pleasure, man. You know, for me, it's definitely divine alignment. Shout out to Stone. I gotta get with him as well. I think we're supposed to have been doing something, I think, in the very near future, but it's definitely divine alignment, how all these, I feel like, alignments are taking place. And one of the things that I've realized too, and you know, it's hard for me a lot of times to digest all the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding, understanding, and understanding that takes place on the platform when I'm in the, in the booth. But sometimes when I get the opportunity to go back and watch some of the shows, it hits a whole nother level, because I can actually just sit there and absorb it and really, like, mind you, I take notes. I don't know if there's been an interview I ever did where I'm not taking notes, because I take notes. I like to read and I like to take notes. And shout out to, I think it was Maria Diaz. I said, if y'all ain't got a pen and paper with this episode, taking notes, like, you know what I'm saying, and really soaking this in, I don't know what y'all doing, because this has been powerful. And I do that every show. Like, I mean, every show I'm taking notes, because every guest has their own special superpower that they bring to the, you know what I'm saying, to these Ashe streets. So it's like one of the things that you said earlier in the show, and it really resonated with me, because I can see it happening in my own life, and hell, even on the channel for that matter, is how you only have, or I should say, the energies that are I guess, cross paths with, or that kind of get incorporated into your space, will only be there if they're welcome or supposed to be there. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, like our energy or our crystals or our ancestors or whatever will remove those energies out of your space. And that's something that I've seen, you know, a lot in my personal life, in my business life, hell, in the content creation life. I've seen different energies come and go. And some of them I feel like it could just be a lot of things going on. Some of them I just feel like it definitely wasn't aligned. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't alignment. And I'm big with alignment, because I feel like for me, if it doesn't flow naturally, I don't feel like it's something that flows for me. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to force anything with anybody for any reason. That's just not how I move. And I don't want nobody doing it with me either. But at the same time, I really do take pride and take heed into the divine natural flow of synergy, you know what I'm saying, of alignment, of, you know, things just happening organically and freely. And every phase of my life. And I love how you spoke about, regardless of what the capacity of the relationship is, if it's not to be, it doesn't need to be, and don't force it to be. And I promise I shared that message earlier today on the divination consultation I had, because it triggered something in my very beginning stages of my journey, where I remember when I got my warriors, and I was asking my godmother, like, yo, you know, you got this, you know, there's some ashe up on these things, man. And at the time I had a pit. I got one now too, but at the time I had my first pit, and I was like, yo, I got a dog, and I was like, he a pit, and I was like, I don't know if he gonna let that sit there. I was talking about my SU and my Orgone. I was like, I don't know if he gonna let them sit there with the, you know, the ashe on it like that without messing with it, or licking it or what have you. I remember my godmother, she was like, yo, if SU don't want him to bother him or touch him, he ain't gonna bother him or touch him. She was like, but if he does allow him to lick him or do whatever, it's because he allowed him to do that. But trust me, that dog don't have the ability to go into that energy field and do anything that Eshu or Ogun don't want him to do. And it took me back, because I asked her again, and when she repeated, like, she didn't say the whole answer, so she said, if they don't want him in that space, he will not be in that space. He will not touch them. And I was like, yo, the way she said it, that's okay. But I say all that to say, I feel like that's what our ancestors are doing now. I feel wholeheartedly that that's what's happening now, not just here on this channel, but I'm talking about in the globe. And I'm talking about, because I'm seeing it from a lot of different levels, from nature, from the numerology to the alignment. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. It's on swole. Like for real. Shout out to Yalo to hell. She know what it is too when it comes to the ancestors. Because we've been talking about them heavy recently. So it's definitely shout out to Nino Bishop Brown. that was his name too. But yeah, man, Nino was a real one. He was a YN for sure. He was a rider though. But yeah, it's a real thing. And I love how it's happening, and I'm seeing it happen with this whole system falling apart. You know, it's crumbling. Like you said, I love how you put it in the past tense. Babylon has crumbled. Like the corporation has died. It is extinct. It's on its way to extinction. And now we got to do what we got to do to continue to build, to elevate, to rise. You know, to educate. So I want to give thanks and gratitude to you. You know, for not just for what you've done here, but the work that you do, you know, as a whole, because it ain't just here that you're doing the work. Like you say, you on other platforms, but what you're doing in your personal life. And I can share, even from the short time that I've known you, you've come in adding value. I deal with a lot of people who come in trying to see what they can get, what they can take, what they can, you know what I'm saying, what they can jump on or hitchhike on or whatever. But when you have people who come in with true intentions, who are coming in leading with value and leading with giving, those are the people who I feel like I can vibrate with and rock with, because that's how I try to move. I try to give, you know what I'm saying, because that's the right thing to do. And I feel like it's a divine alignment with us being obedient to who sent us here to do what we came here to do. So I want to give gratitude to you and thanks to you for that. And then one last question, and because I promised I would share this one. Actually, I'm gonna share two more if you got the time. Shout out to Mari. She wants to know, Mari wants to know, can we clean our crystals in salt water? And then she had another question of where can we, I think it was her or whoever it was, but if it wasn't her, whoever it was, I want to answer your question too. Where can they invest in silver at? That was the other question. I think it was Mari.
You can definitely clean your silver, your crystals with salt water. Himalayan salt is great. If you can get some ocean water, that'd be really good. But yes, salt water is fine. And you want to get your silver at your local pawn shop or coin dealer. What you want to do is you want to call them. You want to first look at what the price of silver is, right? So you want to go knowing what the price is, and they're going to sell it to you with maybe $5 to $6 over the spot price. And so that's how they get their money. But you want to call at least 3 people so that you can get the price and, you know, start developing and building that relationship. And yeah, go pick it up personally. If you do not hold it, you do not own it. And so people that have certificates of gold and silver, this is why the silver is going up now, because it's starting to get in demand. And silver is everything in technology needs silver. So silver is supposed to be at least 10% of what gold is, and it's not, but it will get there. And it is something for us to be able to have and hold on to. So yes, definitely get you some silver.
Yeah, tribe is tribing. I've seen a lot of like this was it, like this was lit, this is the one, like this is automatic replay. I'm saving it, like I mean, I knew it. Like I said, it don't take me long to figure out what's gonna be one of them ones. And I said that I said that in the private call, which was still one of them ones. That's a whole nother experience within itself. And tribe, y'all got to join the private community, the Patreon, because there is a free tier. All you got to do is sign up, you know, for that one to get access to the private calls and some of the other exclusive content, because we're definitely going to be amping up the exclusive content based upon like Marty said, man, they you know, sometimes we get taken away. Like that movie Taken, you know, so we want to make sure that we have direct access with you. So Patreon is definitely the way to go about it with me and with the channel with Ashe. And as far as with Marty, the socials and the phone number that she shared is another way to directly, you know, connect, because that does happen. You know, there's certain energies and entities that don't want this level of frequency being transmitted, you know, on the internet. So, you know, we know what that is. It's a war, and we know what it is. So shout out to CNN, the war report, you know, but we still gonna be here watching.
Any private, any public workshops. I will not be doing any public workshops. They're going to come through private venues like with Orisa Gbemi, Orisa Stone, different things like that.
Sure.
There's a reason for that. It's very important.
Oh yeah, I've shared that many times. We can't talk about everything. We got some things we got to, you know, pull it into the house, man. We got to have a house party. The congregation got to come to the house. You know what I'm saying? We can't like Trick Daddy say, take it to the house. Sometimes we got to take it to the house. We can't always have it be here. So, but with that, we're gonna still do what we do here, and we're gonna definitely continue to do what we do on and off air. And I think there might have been one more question. I want to make sure. Appreciate you, Marty. I definitely appreciate you and the love and support. And shout out to the whole tribe, man. I definitely appreciate all of y'all. Shout out to the Patreon community. We're gonna have our private call on Friday. I'll share the links in the platforms tomorrow with that. But before we get out of here, Marty, any last words? Oh wait, one more question. Shout out to Miss Teresa Miller. She wanted to know about the flat square stones that you were speaking about. This was a while back. When I was trying to keep up with comments, but I had to start this one because I wanted to make sure I answered that for her as well.
It's called Iceland Spar, aka clear calcite, aka optical calcite. There is another book, and I just had to say this one. I'm kind of going off to another space, but A Metaphysical Interpretation of the Bible. I read it on TikTok. Sometimes I'll read some pages. A Metaphysical Interpretation of the Bible by Stephen L. Harefield is an excellent book for people that, you know, that studied the Bible before and want to get like a different metaphysical breakdown of it. It's an excellent book. He studied all the different cultures and put it into this metaphysical Bible book. So definitely check that out.
Ashe. Oh, yeah, this was amazing, man. It definitely, it was amazing. Like I said, I wasn't surprised. And look, I'm gonna share this on the way out. I'm gonna drop this with the tribe. So tonight, I feel like tonight we got more of the, I would say more of like the Oracle from the Matrix version of I am SEG Mighty 13, because on the private call, I felt like we got more of the Angela Davis, you know what I'm saying, revolutionary energy coming from, you know what I'm saying, like for real, because look, you motivated me to rock my Black Panther t-shirt because the tribe was commenting on the fro. I think it was Queen Liquid Waters, like, yo, the fro is giving me life right now. I'm like, yeah, but that's that Angela Davis, boy, that Panther stand up energy, boy. And so that's what you had in Friday in the private call. I was like, yo. Yeah, that's that real deal, Holyfield Black Panther energy, man. But you know, we're versatile, you know, artists. What we do, and I feel like tonight we still got some powerful Ashe for sure. I always say it was a combination of Lauryn Hill and the Oracle of the Matrix that came through the night. So, you know, that's what happens when you have multifaceted beings, you know what I mean, who can do multifaceted things. So I definitely want to give a huge...
You gonna let me get on the mic before I get out, though?
Man, get on that thing, man. Get on. I told you, look, you got the runway. It's yours. Let's take off and take flight.
All right. I want to share with y'all something that the ancestors gave me, something that I sing every day. And it goes a little something like this. I am creation. I am animation. I am the brightest vibrant star in all of the constellations. I am zip, pep, pizzazz, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Gracias.
Ashe. I'm not even going to try to come behind that. Look, that might add that into the intro. Look, I'm going to have to put you 100 together, man, and remix that thing. Shout out to my boy 100, man, who made the intro outro. Because, yeah, we definitely on one tonight. This has definitely been one of them ones, man. For real. Like, the tribe is wilding right now. Like, for real. Coco K said, it's so crazy. I started tapping in this year, and I feel so validated by so many things you said. Oh, my God. And I literally am talking to my water in the shower. Look, that's a powerful prayer right there. I do that all the time, Coco K. That's the most powerful place to say them affirmations to me. And matter of fact, shout out to the Patreon community and private community, because a lot of the prayers, I got to share that prayer too with a couple of people, but the Ori prayer that we went over in the community, we start with programming the water, you know, with the affirmations. So that's a powerful time and place to definitely speak to the universe and, you know, manifest, man, with that water. That's a real thing. So that's what's up. But I appreciate it, man. This was definitely yeah, this was dope. I'm gonna leave it at this. The last comment, I'm gonna leave it at that. Shout out to Queen Liquid Water, said this was dope as F. I agree with you. So I ain't gonna F this up. We're gonna roll up out of here, man. We're gonna fire up the spaceship. And shout out to the space guy. There's a dude on TikTok. I think it might be Desi Banks, but it's an alien space guy or something like that. But he's a funny dude. Now I'm gonna fire up the ship. Wait, let me get a little glimpse of that real quick before we fire up the ship and get up. That is dope. That thing is that's powerful. I'm telling you that. Look, that, you know what? That reminds me of and back in antiquity in Kemet, you know, the pyramids, the major 3 pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. I think it was Khufu, the biggest one. Well, actually, all of them had the caps. You know what I'm saying? The pyramid, the stone caps on the pyramid back in antiquity. That joint look like it's like one of the caps. Boy, that's powerful. That's powerful. That's what's up. Well, tribe, I definitely appreciate all the love, the support, the likes, the subscribes, the new channel members. Congratulations. Welcome to the tribe. I look forward to seeing y'all Friday on the private community. This was amazing. We definitely got to chop it up and see when we can make it happen again, because this was powerful. Like, it definitely was. So welcome to the tribe. I am SEG13 Mahri. I definitely look forward to having you be a regular, because this was amazing, man, and I knew it would be. So I give gratitude and thanks. Anything you gotta leave with the folks, or you good dropping the mic? Let me know.
I love you guys. I love you. Ache.
Ashe. Well, tribe, I definitely appreciate the love and support. So don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. Family, we out. Peace. Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàpọ̀ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your